If you're looking at Ford's new Bronco, Bronco Sport, or Maverick pickup, you need to understand that there are multiple types of four-wheel drive available. In this video, I'm going to dive into how each system works and also explore their strengths and weaknesses. That's coming up right now on Driving Sports TV. Even though Ford offers a number of four- and all-wheel drive systems, in this video, I'm just going to focus on what you'll find in the Bronco, Bronco Sport, and Maverick vehicles. In the production of this video, we did communicate with Ford's engineering team to make sure that it is factually correct. Of course, the best all-wheel drive system on the planet doesn't matter if you're not running the right tires. On our Maverick here, we are running the Vredestein Pinza. This is an excellent blend of on-road comfort and off-road capability. They also look great too, especially covered in mud.
Now let's start with a brief model overview. The Bronco is Ford's truck-based SUV designed for extreme adventure. It features a body-on-frame design like the Jeep Wrangler it competes against, but the Bronco also has independent suspension, which makes it much nicer to drive on regular roads. The four-wheel drive system is designed for extreme conditions with a transfer case, available locking differentials, and advanced off-road modes. The Bronco Sport is a completely different vehicle, but with a very similar name. Based on the smaller unibody crossover design, the Bronco Sport competes against vehicles like the Subaru Forester, Jeep Compass, and Toyota RAV4. Even though Ford calls the Bronco Sport system four-wheel drive, it really is a setup that would traditionally be called all-wheel drive. This is a front-biased, open differential configuration with an available twin-clutch rear transfer unit. We'll explain what that is later in this video.
From a powertrain perspective, the Ford Maverick is basically a truck version of the unibody Bronco Sport crossover. The all-wheel drive system is basically the same, it just has a longer wheelbase and modified programming. Now let's really dig in to the nuances of these systems.
The Ford Bronco, the big one, has a four-wheel drive system derived from Ford's truck division. You'll find similar hardware in the Ranger and F-150 trucks. These are what you would consider to be traditional four-wheel drive setups, which even today are as good as you'll find for off-road capability. The Bronco is available with your choice of two different 4x4 hardware packages, Standard or Advanced 4x4. In addition to two-wheel drive, Standard includes the part-time four-wheel drive setup that is most familiar to off-road enthusiasts. This has a shift-on-the-fly transfer case to switch between rear-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. It also features a low range to help multiply torque when necessary. The most efficient and everyday driving mode is rear-wheel drive. With a turn of the dial, engage four-wheel drive to engage a physical lock between the front and back axles. This makes it very capable off-road, but limits its on-road usefulness in this mode. If you attempt to drive one of the four-wheel drive modes on high-traction surfaces, the powertrain will bind while turning, which isn't good for the system. If you tow behind a motorhome, it should be noted that this system is able to be flat-towed when in neutral. Advanced 4x4 adds an auto four-wheel drive option that allows you to run four-wheel drive all the time, even on paved roads, shifting power between the front and back wheels as necessary. This is great for drivers that don't want to have to think about when and where to engage four-wheel drive, or for the times that you might be traveling on mixed surfaces, such as highways with sporadic snow coverage. Though both Standard and Advanced 4x4 include a rear locking differential, only Advanced includes the optional electronic front locking differential. These are often referred to as lockers. Lockers allow the left and right drive shafts to lock together, allowing them to move at the same rate, which is critical for challenging conditions when traction varies between the wheels. This illustration shows how a Bronco will respond to two passenger side wheels hitting ice at low speed. In normal mode, 4 low, power will be lost as the wheels on ice spin, trying to find grip. By engaging the rear locker, power will then be split evenly side to side, essentially making both axles act as one. Some trims include a stabilizer bar disconnect. When the disconnect is switched on, the Bronco increases front axle articulation, which helps crawling over large objects. This can be engaged manually or by using one of the pre-programmed drive modes. Both standard and advanced 4x4 systems may include up to 7 of Ford's 8 available G.O.A.T modes. G.O.A.T stands for Goes Over Any Terrain. These are a variety of software programs that control several aspects of the Bronco, allowing it to be optimized for a number of conditions without having to understand every detail of the Bronco's hardware. For example, Rock Crawl mode will automatically switch the vehicle into 4 low, engage the rear locker, turn on the front locker as needed, and it can also disconnect the front stabilizer bar if more traction is required, all without the driver needing to know what any of that means. The Bronco is loaded with all the tools necessary to drive to the ends of the earth. But now let's see how it compares against the system included in the smaller Bronco Sport. The Bronco Sport is totally different, and it's simply not as capable as the big Bronco. That said, it is a lot easier to use, and in our testing, it's been proven to be one of the best systems available for a unibody crossover. Though the all-wheel drive systems found in the Bronco Sport and Maverick pickup do share similarities to the GKN all-wheel drive system found in other vehicles in this class, in the process of researching this video, Ford said they don't actually use GKN hardware in either the Bronco Sport nor the Maverick. Both the hardware and software in these systems are directly from Ford, even if they do function very similar to the GKN systems. It's true that Ford did work with GKN in the development of the system found in the Focus RS, but moving on from there, Ford says they went down their own path. So let's talk about what the basic all-wheel drive system in the Bronco Sport and Maverick offer. The Bronco Sport and Maverick both have a transverse-mounted engine connected to an automatic transmission with a center transfer clutch that can shift power between the front and rear axles as necessary. This is a single-speed system. There is no low range available. Both front and rear differentials of the Bronco Sport and Maverick are open, which may limit off-road capabilities, but that also makes it as easy to drive on paved surfaces as any car. This all-wheel drive system is always available. The center clutch constantly varies torque to the rear wheels as needed. When cruising, it can completely disengage power to the rear wheels for improved economy. Power then reconnects instantly when power is needed. In more challenging, low-speed situations, if a tire loses grip, it will spin due to the open differentials, which can bleed power out of this system. So in this case, what allows the Bronco Sport and Maverick to be so nice to drive every day also causes it to be ineffective off-road. But like many other crossovers, Ford adds brake traction control to minimize that power loss. Let's bring up the same scenario that we used with the big Bronco. Slippery surface under both passenger side wheels. With open differentials, the wheels just spin. To counteract this, the Bronco Sport and Maverick employ brake traction control, sometimes referred to as brake vectoring. This applies brakes to the individual spinning wheels, which eliminates power from bleeding out, making that torque available to the driver's side wheels, the ones with grip. The same functionality can be seen if any single or multiple combination of tires lack grip. Modern implementation of brake traction control makes even street-oriented all-wheel drive vehicles quite capable when the going gets tough. However, because brake vectoring does require wheel spin before it engages, it can cause more trail damage when climbing through hard situations compared to the hard-locking system found in the big Bronco. But is there a way to make these open differential systems even better? Yes, there is, and that system is found in the Bronco Sport Badlands and First Edition trims. These enhance the all-wheel drive system with a twin-clutch rear drive unit. This adds a pair of clutched drive shafts to the rear wheels, which allows it to lock the rear axles as needed. This dramatically improves the climbing abilities of this little crossover. Bringing back the earlier scenario, here you can see the rear end lock power side to side. This is particularly useful when climbing uneven surfaces. If locked, it won't even require slip to engage. It starts out in that state. However, do note that due to system programming, the Bronco Sport can still engage and disengage the twin drive unit as it sees fit. At the time of this video, Ford has not yet offered the twin clutch drive unit on the Maverick pickup, but we do expect a future model will include it or a similar system as an option, eventually. Ford's all-wheel drive system employs fuzzy logic to measure wheel speeds, throttle, steering angle, outside temperature, and wiper status, to allow the system to respond to conditions as quickly and accurately as possible. To control how the system acts and reacts, Ford provides a series of programmed G.O.A.T modes. But where the full-size Bronco can make significant hardware changes based on the GOAT mode selected, the Bronco Sport is more about modifying the software. Specific trims may change which GOAT modes are available. For example, the Maverick Lariat comes standard with Sport and Eco modes. However, because the Maverick we bought for our show included the FX4 off-road package, Ford replaced Sport and Eco with Slippery and Mud Rut programs. So what do these programs do? Each GOAT mode modifies the brake traction control, the twin clutch drive unit if equipped, and the powertrain to optimize for each situation. In the Bronco Sport and Maverick, GOAT modes aren't as dramatic as in the larger Bronco, simply because the Bronco has more hardware that is able to be modified by the system. In terms of capability, it's no contest. The full-size Bronco is far more capable than the Bronco Sport. The Bronco is bigger, more powerful, has hard-locking hardware, better articulation, and a lot more ground clearance. However, the Bronco Sport is smaller, making it easier to maneuver in tight spaces, and it's a lot more economical. It also packs in a shocking amount of capability for the money, making it a great choice in the small crossover segment. The Maverick simply takes the same great Bronco Sport formula and adds a truck bed for even more utility.
I hope you learned something with this video. I know I did in the research of it. If you want to learn about other all-wheel drive systems, we have a similar video about Mercedes 4MATIC, Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, and Honda's iVTM4 system, and we'll of course do more in the future. Be sure to like, share this video. We make them for you, and we hope you enjoy them. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. We'll see you again real soon.